welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we are here to give you some interesting tidbits in world of sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in our hour-long or so podcast. Recapping the week, looking ahead, doing a lot of fun things every week here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. But before we get into all the news at hand, we like to do a little personal bit, let you know what we've been up to in the past week. So, Mikey, my friend, how you doing? What's happening in Costanzo country?
I'm doing good. I had a very interesting weekend entertainment-wise. I was all over the place. So I watched the Alien show on Netflix, the docu-series on Netflix called Encounters.
Okay.
I think it's called Encounter or Encounters. It's basically 4 episodes where they talk about UFO sightings and alien encounters in 4 different parts of the world: the U.S., the U.K., Zimbabwe, and Japan.
It's a random assortment, Zimbabwe.
Well, it's focused specifically on mass sightings. So, like,
trying to get a little bit of credibility here.
Yeah, like areas where there's like 300 people said that they spotted something in this area or something like that. And I'll say, off the bat, I think that there's something out there. I also think that like 85% of sightings are probably some better explanation, whether it's mass hysteria, psychedelics, people, Aaron Rodgers, like some kind of weird thing
Darkness
going on.
retreats,
Yeah, psychologically or scientifically. But I do think there's like 10 to 15% that is probably credible. Like they showed some really compelling evidence, specifically like radar evidence for the first episode, which was really cool. To see, them talking about that.
You had Mr. Radar?
Mr. Radar, yep.
Very
Just
good.
Mr. Coffee, Mr. Radar.
Yep. What's all this churning and bubbling? You call that a radar screen?
No, that's Mr. Coffee.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Everyone knows I have coffee when I watch Radar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we're just going to recite Spaceballs for the rest of the episode.
Right, at this rate.
No, that's a good movie. Did not watch that movie, though, this past weekend. I should watch that.
Yeah.
Though. That's a classic.
Yeah, put that back on the list.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I used to, that was one of the movies I would always put on. I had a TV in my room with a DVD player built in as a kid.
Oh, fancy.
Yep, very fancy. And I used to put on like various movies to like fall asleep to, like when I was like trying to fall asleep. And so Spaceballs was one. Mm-hmm. Meet the Parents was one.
Ooh, good one.
And Emperor's New Groove. So
you love your animation.
I love my animation. So those were the 3 movies that I would like regularly fall asleep to.
Did
you have a similar setup?
I had a setup where I had a TV, and then I had a separate VCR DVD player.
Oh, so you had like everything.
And then what I did was I was a hacker.
Boy.
I took the RCA cables and I would mix them up so that I could play CDs on my DVD, and then I would play PlayStation 2, because the Madden soundtrack was all rap and I didn't really know rap, so I would put in my own CDs and I have my own soundtrack.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was hacking. I was hacking the wires.
You were a bad boy hacker back in the day.
Yeah, take that.
Mixing up those cables.
Yeah, I don't need Joe Buddha or whatever the hell. I don't know. I think that was one of the rappers. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I forget the other rappers that were on it. Oh well, whatever.
Oh well, that was a long time ago.
That's why I played my own music.
Exactly.
On CDs.
CD-ROM.
Through a DVD player.
Wow, that's next level.
Yeah. Bam.
Anybody under the age of 15 is like, what is happening? Anyway.
Well, you're the one that threw me into a loop 2 weeks ago when you told me that kids don't know what change the channel means.
Yeah, kids don't know what change. Did you ask your nieces and nephews? Do they know what change the channel means?
I actually have not had the chance to ask them personally.
You gotta ask them.
That worries me.
Go get the clicker and change the channel.
This whole conversation bothers me.
Yeah.
Just like Herm Edwards, yeah.
This
whole conversation bothers me.
You are old like him.
Yeah, because I do refer to it as clicker.
You do. That's an old people thing.
Yeah, I've been told I'm on the fast track.
You're on the one-way ticket.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, just Encounters, and I've been playing a quaint, cozy game called Paleo Pines on Nintendo Switch, where it's basically a mix between Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, except you have little cute dinosaurs that you can find, like Pokemon.
Of course, this would be
and then you
alley.
have the dinosaurs help you on the farm.
You stupid fucking dinosaur! Get
You know,
I guess Nicki Minaj doesn't like this game.
no, Nicki Minaj does not like Paleo Pines at all.
That dinosaur been working my nerves all night.
You were playing it all night.
To be fair to Nicki Minaj, the dinosaur AI is questionable in the game. So
yeah, there you go.
but
She wouldn't like this.
but scientifically pretty cool. The dinosaur behaviors are fun to watch. Like the dinosaurs that are supposed to be on 4 legs are on 4 legs. Those that are supposed to be on 2 legs.
Dinosaur! Get the out of here!
All right, Nicki Minaj is tired of my dinosaur talk. Paleo Pines, it's a good game. If you like cozy games, go check it out.
Okay.
And counters, aliens and dinosaurs. That's what I was doing.
She'll like the aliens, but she won't like the dinosaurs. Not good.
No.
That dinosaur been working my nerves all night.
All night.
All night.
What were you doing all night this weekend?
Actually, good question. Because Friday night I was out and about.
Okay. What'd you get up to?
Because I went down to the strange land of Wilmington.
Oh no,
Wilmington, Delaware. Went to
terrifying.
went to Bar 13, and I gotta say I had to go see a Swedish dark synth band that was an offshoot of Ghost.
Okay.
Yep, they were in town. I don't know why.
So, what is that like? What is the experience of seeing a Swedish dark synth? What is dark synth?
Like techno,
Give
but like
me-
it's kind of.
Give the listeners and the viewers an example.
Well, I mean, because they're not really mainstream. You got to think of kind of like a techno song, but
Sing us a song.
it's a little. No, I'm not gonna sing a song. I can't, and I can't even really like do it. It's really like. Dark. I can't. This is not a dark podcast.
It's not.
This is
No,
not
it's
what
not.
we do here on the Crispy Noodle. But I do enjoy dark synth. And
But what is dark synth?
it basically take techno and like make it like kind of
Evil?
evil, yeah, slightly evil, not like overly evil.
Is
but
it
like
like-
a little bit?
is
Like
it
a little pinch.
Is it like if Night on Bald Mountain was written by like a death metal band? Or
close,
like
but not
a
metal either?
No,
'cause
not
it's
metal.
not-
Like an EDM.
yeah,
Like Night on Bald Mountain, but EDM.
sure. Yeah, that you're getting more closer to the target.
It's
Yeah.
kinda-
You're
it's
getting
weird.
closer to the target. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because so the reason why I had to go see them, number one, they're from Sweden, so I was like, why are they in Wilmington? This is great.
That's
They're
a long ways
right,
away.
They're right here in our backyard. I had to go check
That's
them out.
weird.
But I know them because 2 of the members used to be in the original Ghost lineup, and one of them still had the original Air Ghoul logo from when he was with the band put on his guitar.
Oh,
And he
cool.
did a cool guitar solo. It was great.
A guitar solo at the dark synth concert thing.
Because I don't want to say I wasn't really.
Is it just
It
instrumental,
wasn't
or
really
is
a
it,
rave.
or are there it wasn't really a rave?
No.
That makes me think it was
A
kind of a
rave-
little bit of a rave.
No, a rave is like everybody's on drugs and neon paint everywhere. That's not this.
Okay.
Well, it's close.
It only had one of those elements, and he's not going to say which.
Right.
Okay.
But no, it was It was a great. It actually was a great show, and they do have words to it, so it isn't just instrumentals.
Okay,
And
okay.
the lead singer of Priest, he goes by Mercury because they're doing like kind of the whole thing like Ghost, where they're anonymous. They have the
Right.
the masks on and stuff like that. They put on a show. Like he was dancing and jumping all around, and he did a thing where he like ran through the audience and tried to bless people because the band's called Priest,
Right.
so it fits.
Of course.
Also, he's got a creepy mask. I should have pulled a picture of it. You can
Oh.
Google it. But he's got a creepy mask where like one eye is like a Terminator red eye, and it's
Ooh.
really creepy in person. Like you see photos of it, but like in person, it's like, ooh, whoa, that's legit. But it was great. Great music. Rachel even came. She liked it. She had
Oh,
a
wow.
good. She was
Okay.
dancing in the crowd. And yeah, it was a whole bunch of fun, and it's a cool little venue in Wilmington, Bar 13.
Nice.
Yeah, great time.
Interesting. Dark synth. Never heard of it. But
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Darth synth.
I mean that's you're close. That's
Like
not-
like an ancient
yeah.
like Sith Lord
It's
that everybody
ancient force power, Darth
Yeah.
synth.
Darth synth.
Yeah, you will find out more in the next TV show after Ahsoka.
Have you been keeping up on that?
Yes, except for the finale, which debuted tonight. But we're recording the
Oh,
show
yeah.
tonight. Sorry.
We'll talk about it next week, but do you like it?
I will.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it
talk
next
about
week.
next week.
Yeah, because we need to see the
Hey,
whole
there's
thing.
a teaser.
That's a teaser for next week. Yeah, we'll
you
talk about Ahsoka next week. Because unfortunately, the way we built this podcast more on the football schedule.
Yes.
Because I was selling this podcast to a couple of people, and I was like, if you like football, you got to check out our podcast because, the way we structure it, it's great because it comes out. We record Tuesday night, release Wednesday, so that you're ready to go for Thursday night football, and then the, pursuing week of football on the slate.
Yeah, we found a really good schedule for that, except the NFL decided to make all their news happen on like Wednesday.
Sometimes. Or other sports do, which
Yeah.
is a pain. But
That's why
nevertheless,
football's the best sport.
we try. We try to accommodate. Actually,
But-
that's a good segue
Yeah,
then.
speaking of sports, it's time to get to what we have planned for the show. And of course, we begin every episode with the sports sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports.
In your face! Ha!
Yep, sports coming at you in your face here in this first part of the show. Also, we can't talk about the Phillies because the Phillies are playing right now, so we got to wait until that series wraps up, which will probably, we'll have to wait till, again, next week's episode. It's another teaser there. But go Phils. We want them to...
Boy, next week's episode is going to be a good episode.
Yeah, already. We're just loading it on already.
But this episode is also going to be a good episode. We have a
Yes.
lot of sports topics to get to. The first one on the docket is just a simple update on the Michael Oher case. We've been following that recently. Just as a brief recap, Michael Oher is a former offensive lineman who played in the NFL. He's taking his adoptive family to court over allegations that they used his personal story for profit. He was, of course, the subject of the movie The Blind Side, about a family bringing him up from poverty, apparently adopting him, and then helping him succeed in school and become an NFL player. But that apparently was all a lie. Instead of adopting him, they placed him in a conservatorship, which is usually not something that you do for people who are of sound mind, not disabled. And also, he was an adult when they did so. He was over the age of 18.
And he's not Britney Spears.
And he's not Britney Spears, right? So here's the latest update. They appeared before a judge to reverse that conservatorship, and the judge said that she had never seen, in her 43 years, a conservatorship agreement with someone who was not disabled, and it should have ended long ago. She said, quote, "I cannot believe it got done," end quote. So shocked that the conservatorship was done in the first place and then continued for that long. So, of course, she ended the conservatorship, but this is only the first step in a long process, and both sides are likely to continue appearing in court to settle all the other allegations. Michael Oher, of course, saying that they profited off of him. He wants a share of those profits from the movie, from the book, from the speaking tours, the books that the family have released in the interim. So, yeah, it's ugly and it's sad because here's a kid who thought he had a family who adopted him and loved him. Meanwhile, the family's like, this is a shakedown he's attempted before. They're like, he knew that he wasn't adopted. It's getting ugly and pretty sad. So we'll see what happens there. We'll keep everybody updated. But that is the latest on the Michael Oher case.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, things get ugly when things go to court.
Yeah, especially over like family stuff and money matters. Like the mudslinging is going to start. It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. There's a reason why a lot of things get settled before court dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want this stuff to air in public, but unfortunately for this case, it has.
Well, there's going to be a money trail
Yep.
because when movies and books get made, they pay out royalties. So we're going to see where the money went and who it went to.
Yep. All right, so there you go. Quick update there. Let's move on because I'm wearing an Eagles shirt, but I think Mikey's got something that's making his blood boil.
Yeah, something's, I guess you could say, pissing me off.
And it's Alabama left and Alabama right. Come on, you let me get your right step right. Get off stage, goddamn goofy, you know. Piss me off and jerk. Get on my nerves.
Oh, yeah, we're bringing back the What's Pissing Us Off segment, but Mikey has a grudge here. So, Mikey, what is up? What are you pissed off about over there?
A lot of things, but specifically,
I got a lot of problems with you
a
people.
lot of problems with everybody. That's my secret. I'm always angry. This week, I'm annoyed at the NFL for, I guess, in my opinion, and a lot of Eagles fans' opinions, punishing the Eagles for the brotherly shove, as it's now been dubbed. Tush Push is out. That was last year.
Yeah.
It's brotherly shove.
That's a stupid name, Tush Push.
Brotherly shove is more Philadelphia because obviously it's a play on brotherly love.
Yeah. Also, by the way,
What?
I think it was something like 8 teams tried to do this the push for a
Yeah.
1-yard gain to convert, and I think 7 of them failed.
Yes. And this is what's pissing me off because before the season, the NFL said multiple times they don't like the play. It's not football-like. It's not pretty. What does that even mean?
Yeah, it's not pretty. What do
Firstly,
you want? It's
what is-
football.
And for their point about it being not it's not football. It's like they're like, oh, it's more like rugby. What is more football than 2 piles of big dudes pushing each other and fighting over football? Think back to like classic NFL from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. It's all just scrums like that.
No, that's rugby. We can't have that.
Oh, apparently that's rugby now.
Yeah.
So the NFL hates the play. Other teams, I think like 7 or 8 teams wanted to get rid of it for this year. It narrowly avoided that. The competition committee voted. It got to stay in for this year. But the NFL told officials this week to pay closer attention to it. And wouldn't you know that we were penalized on one of these brotherly shove plays?
Yep.
Landon Dickerson was called for being offsides. Excuse me. There's a picture going around online. Just look it up. The defender's hand is under the football before the snap. But
yeah.
we got called
Yeah.
for offsides.
Yeah. Go figure.
How have defenses never been called for a neutral zone infraction, for offsides, for anything? I mean, you've been watching the Eagles.
Yes.
How many times have you seen this play? I'll be watching replays. I'll be like, they're lined up over Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, and they don't call it.
And they don't call it. What the hell, Rich?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand why they're getting penalized for this.
And
It's a
do
legal
people-
play.
It's a legal play. The Eagles are doing nothing wrong. And to people saying that it's too easy, it's a cheat code, Micah Parsons of the Cowboys. This article came out 8 hours ago.
Oh,
Says
stupid Cowboys.
it's basically like a cheat code.
Screw you,
You said
Cowboys.
3 teams tried it this past week. They not only failed, the Giants had 2 players injured on the play that they tried.
Yes.
So not only can they not do it,
They hurt
but they
themselves.
actively injure themselves trying to do it. So
Yeah.
clearly, it is a skillful play. It is a football play. And I think it's a thing of beauty when all you need is a yard and we just push your guys 2-3 yards down the field. They have nothing in their arsenal to stop it. We just exert our will on the other team. I can't think of anything more football than that.
Yeah, and it's not automatic.
It's not.
The other teams can't do it.
No, they can't. Until another team can do it to the same degree as the Eagles, and the Eagles are converting 91% of the time. The rest of the league, 69%.
Yeah.
So clearly, the Eagles have something special.
Yep, and they're trying to take it away from us.
It pisses me off.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, and it frustrated me so much that they flagged them on that play. And people online it was a whole grand conspiracy that, there's a lot of bad calls that game, specifically that one. They're trying to punish the Eagles. I don't know if they're trying to punish the Eagles, but they're definitely trying to force us out of using it,
Yeah,
which
well,
pisses me off.
Yeah, that good luck, because if it's 4th and 1, yeah, that's what you do. Just fall forward, literally. Just take
Other teams can't do it.
or scrum around to the left and just find that yard. That's all you got to do.
Just pisses me off.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, buddy. It's not right.
It's not right at all.
And they call these ticky tack bullshit stuff penalties.
Yeah, bull stuff.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to put
Whoops.
it on the PG-13 podcast.
Yeah. Whoops. you got what I meant.
I know. But yeah, I just couldn't believe when they called offsides on that play. Of
Yeah.
you got it. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Like this is not, we talk about not a football play. Refs should not be looking into it like that. I feel like that's just not in the spirit of the game.
Yeah.
If you're going to look that closely and decide that one guy out of the 17 of the 22 players on the field on the line of scrimmage, that one guy was offsides, get real.
Yeah.
Get real.
Yeah. So I agree with you, Mike. Yeah, that is some definite brotherly shove
BS.
BS. It needs to be BS in both ways.
BS squared.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Speaking of the Eagles, let's recap what they had on Sunday. Had a win.
Despite the bad calls.
Yep, they had a win against Washington, but it did go into overtime and caused everyone in Philadelphia to have minor heart palpitations. It was unnecessarily close. It did not need to be this close. I was kind of disappointed that this game even went into overtime.
Yeah.
But I guess you want to mention here, Jalen Hurts had a pretty good game. That's good.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts had his first, I think, real quality start this season. Just going by the stats, he was great in the air. He didn't have to run a lot. But the biggest thing for me is he didn't make any mistakes. The past couple of games, he's been making mistakes, interceptions, fumbles, what have you. It was a clean game. No picks, 2 touchdowns, 300 yards. Classic, solid, late 2022 Jalen Hurts.
Okay, very good.
I think that, that was one of the positives. Another positive, of course, Jake Elliott single-handedly carrying this team.
Yeah. Jake Elliott is the MVP of this season so far.
I had to look it up. He's made 4 out of 5 50-plus yard field goals so far this year. We've only played 4 games.
Yeah, he's making one of them per game.
He's making a 50-yarder per game. One of them was a 60-yarder. I mean, the guy is tied for first in the number of field goals made. He's really doing a lot for this team.
Yeah.
little Jake Elliott. But you're right in that the game didn't have to be that close. We could have put them away. We had an opportunity to kill the clock and just walk out with, a win there in the fourth quarter. But we took the points, and we took a deep shot. A.J. Brown had a nice little touchdown grab there, his second of the game. Left too much time on the clock.
Well, I mean, problems,
what's your read on? Because I've seen 2 arguments. What's your read on?
The problems, I think, started really before that. I mean, look, you have a wide open A.J. Brown, you take him. That's fine.
Okay.
But, the drive before that one was a 3 and out, and they passed, 2 out of those 3 downs.
Yeah.
When you're in fourth quarter territory and you've got the lead, I mean, I'm not saying you go completely run, but you got to start running the ball.
Yeah.
There was this weird aversion, I felt like, in the second half where they didn't try to run the ball as much, and I don't know why.
I think the Commanders' defensive line was kind of, stifling the run in a way that other teams had not been able to this season. But they did kind of abandoned it.
Yeah, you can't abandon it, though.
Yeah. I mean, DeAndre Swift is second in the league in rushing yards. He's only played 3 of the 4 games.
Yeah, he wasn't in the first game.
But they did a good job of bottling him up, but he was still, I know stats aren't the whole story, but he was still averaging about 4 yards a carry. That's enough.
Yeah, that's what you need
to get a first down. It's not flashy. It's not fast. But sometimes that's all you need. I think the Eagles have an aversion to being a ground and pound team. I think that they get a little impatient with this high octane offense. They want to get the big plays, get the big chunk yardage, really set the opposing team back on their heels. And so I think they have kind of this aversion to pick up 3.4 yards a play. That's not maybe in their offensive identity to want to do that. But sometimes a game calls for it.
Yeah, that's how you limit exposure. You limit the the amount of time that these guys play. I know they only played 1 drive in overtime each, the offense and defense, but that's still more time than needed to put this game away. That's extra exposure for injuries, extra tiredness.
Yep.
Washington's going to feel it with their game on Thursday night.
Yep.
They better watch out. They might be really gassed going up against Chicago. They might lose that game. They could. Yeah, that's not what good teams do.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I hate to phrase it like that, but that's not what I want to see from a team that is contending for a Super Bowl run. That puts me off a little bit.
It seemed like when they needed to take control of the game, they didn't.
Right. Good teams do that.
Yeah.
You got to be able to put opponents away, and they didn't in this game.
You can just look at. I know it's not a great marker, but I on ESPN they have the little win probability, line chart, And at one point in the third quarter, I mean, it's like 80% Eagles, and then it just wildly swings back and forth between 50% and 90%. 50%, 90%. Like, that should not be happening.
No, you got to put it away.
In the fourth quarter, you got to put it away. We had them back on their heels, deep, kind of like struggling to get a foothold, and we let them score 14 points in the fourth quarter to come screaming back.
And it was like all in the last like 9 minutes too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the last drive that they had was 1:30.
Yeah. Yep. That's all it takes.
There were a few problems with that last drive. It was a whole calamity of errors. Like, the Eagles should have taken a little bit more time off the clock on their drive. I'm fine with the A.J. Brown touchdown. Like that.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
That in and of itself is not the problem. The problem is that, like, maybe you take a little bit of time before you snap the ball each time. You know, I think they were leaving a few seconds there. And then once you get that touchdown, the taunting penalty.
Yeah,
I mean,
that hurt.
Just the dumb, boneheaded things that gave them an extra 15, I think it was like 10 to 15 yards. On the
kickoff, yeah.
Yeah, on the kickoff. So when it comes down to it and they're at the 10-yard line, boy, you really would have been better if they were on the 20 instead of the 10.
Yeah.
You know, that extra 10, 15 yards. So it's just a calamity of errors.
Yeah.
The big
Also, we are forgetting something. Jalen Hurts did make a mistake. He got that intentional grounding penalty in overtime. That almost killed.
Yes, however,
killed that drive.
I find it odd that they threw that flag. Because other teams have, I mean, I can think of so many times where a quarterback has thrown the ball super deep and it's like way over the head of the closest receiver because, you know, the old thing they did with the Donovan McNabb. If you don't think you can complete it, throw it out the back of the end zone. You know?
Yeah.
I found it odd that they threw that flag because it was miscommunication on A.J. Brown's part. You know, he cut the route short. He didn't run the route correctly. It looked odd. And it even looked odd to the broadcast. Nobody knew what was happening.
But by the technical definition, it was, I hate to say it, the refs are right on that one.
Yeah, the refs are right on that, but I feel like we've seen plays like that where they haven't thrown it.
Yeah, but
I mean, come on now.
But it is
Even if they were right, be honest with yourself.
He wasn't pressured. He was in the tackle box. That was a decent call.
I think it's a ticky-tack call because these quarterbacks launch the ball well before the receiver is under it on those deep routes. If the wide receiver makes a mistake, it's going to look like that, and it's happened before.
Yeah. He wasn't pressured. I'm sorry. I think the refs do have a case.
I don't know.
On that one, they do.
I mean, it was a mistake in the technical sense. I don't think Jalen Hurts had any control over it. He let the ball go based on a route.
Someone had communication problems.
Someone had a communication problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that was...
And it almost knocked him out of field goal range.
It did. That was the worst possible penalty at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
Because intentional grounding, why is it such a catastrophic penalty? Like, it's a loss of down.
Well,
it's 15 and a loss of down. That's huge.
Yeah. And yeah, you don't want to you don't want to have like constant just lame throws or something like in the middle of nowhere.
I guess. It just seems like it's like the same thing with like the spot foul and defensive pass interference.
Yeah, it's
like
massive.
so catastrophic.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, mistakes aside, we did end up winning. I think a bigger thing that needs to get solved after the mistakes is we need to sort out what we're doing in the middle of the field on defense. There's a lot of conversation online about how our cornerbacks play too soft. I don't know. What do you think about that? We give up a lot of really short slant passes, stuff over the middle. It's just like, I don't know if the answer is to play more press man. Everybody's like, play more press coverage. No, I was watching another game briefly. Corners don't play a lot of press in today's NFL. They don't. They want to keep stuff in front of them. But I wonder, like, maybe our guys would be better at press because right now teams are just killing us with the short pass.
Yeah.
Analytically, yes, it prevents the deep ball. But, I mean...
Yeah, what cost, though?
Because you make Sam Howell look like a Pro Bowl quarterback at times.
Yeah, and also look at the play that tied the game up and forced overtime.
Yeah.
Darius Slay was practically in the end zone.
Yeah, they're all 8, 9, 10 yards off the ball.
I hate that.
I hate it.
Yeah. Get up closer. I don't know what... I get the strategy, but I still don't like it.
Darius Slay and James Bradbury are a bit on the bigger side for corners. With that defensive line, I feel like if you press them at the line, you knock the receivers off their route and off their timing, that gives the line that half second they need to get home.
Yeah.
How many times are we a half second away from a sack? We have so many pressures. We have a lot of sacks too, but like if they just had that extra half second.
Yeah, I agree.
I know the reason why they don't play press is because we don't have right now
Reliable safeties.
the safeties to play it with, and we're depleted at corner with Avonte Maddox being out. So they're rotating players all over the place in the defensive backfield. They don't trust them to play press. The Eagles are taking steps to remedy this. They just signed former Broncos and Saints cornerback Bradley Roby to play slot corner. That I think will be a huge addition for the Eagles, not because he's going to be fantastic, but because that means they can move James Bradbury back to the outside.
Yeah, where he should be.
But they gotta figure something out. And I like the fact that Howie Roseman is doing something by signing another player to try and fix this, because there's a problem,
Yeah. Well, he's going to need to fix another problem, too, that starting right guard Cam Jurgens might be out for a couple of weeks with a foot sprain.
Yeah,
That's something you don't want to see when it comes to the health of Jalen Hurts.
No, it's definitely a loss. The team says he's week to week, but you know how these things go.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not going to be something that he's going to be able to bounce back from that quickly. He didn't come back into the game. So, some people are like, oh, he might be back this Sunday. I don't think so. I believe the backup is Sua Opeta. He did a good job filling in, from what I could tell during the game. But, obviously losing a starting lineman for a team like ours, where that offensive line is so dominant, that's going to be a definite knock against us in the coming weeks.
Yep. But we'll see how they fare in the upcoming game against the Rams, which we'll cover in our Fantastic Four picks for week number 5. So why don't we jump to that then?
Let's do it.
All right. There we go. The music is on. This is kind of, it's similar to Dark Synth, but not quite. It needs to be a little bit darker.
A little darker.
But this is kind of on the same beat, if you will.
Okay, so like a little bit heavier, like ooh.
Not that far.
Oh, okay. Like ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Much better.
Okay.
We're
Awesome.
still looking to have fun here.
Well, you know what else is dark is the Baltimore Ravens, named after the Edgar Allan Poe poem, father of the American horror short story.
Okay, Professor.
I'm trying to implement some academia into the podcast to educate ourselves.
All right, okay. Professor Costanzo is holding class here.
It's a battle for the AFC North between the dreaded Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rich, who do you think is going to win this one?
Oh, you don't have anything for the Steelers? You just had the Ravens.
No, they're just the Steelers.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, whatever they do on the west side of the state.
Hey, wait, they're named after a medal.
You guys are on your own.
One is named after a cool Edgar Allan Poe horror poem. The other's named after a type of metal.
Well, metal could be cool. Metal.
The music genre, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway,
who's going to win this one, the bird or the metal?
Sad for the metal, though. I think they've got some trials and tribulations coming up. Kenny Pickett is hurt, so they may have to go with Mitch Trubisky as their backup quarterback. And there have been a lot of complaints on offensive coordinator Matt Canada, which sounds like a made-up name, but that is literally the name of the coordinator.
It does sound made up.
Well, he's probably not going to be a coordinator much longer if this keeps up. He has not been able to get this offense to run so far in the 4 games that we've had. And I don't know if that's going to improve with a whole new quarterback that has to step in with an injured Kenny Pickett sitting on the bench. Whereas the Ravens, I think they're turning a corner. Lamar Jackson had a really good game in week 4. They're on the upswing. I'm going Ravens in this one.
Yeah, the Steelers are sitting at 2-2, but just statistically, they've been kind of a disaster. Lamar Jackson, I don't know if he's playing up to his contract, but he's playing well, both in passing and rushing. I think that the Ravens control this one and further their lead in the AFC North. I think it's pretty simple here. It's Baltimore.
Yep.
Next up, we have a battle for the AFC South. Everyone is tied at 2-2. Such an interesting division that I thought was going to be a disaster. But now all of a sudden, every game these teams play matters. And we have a big one here, the Tennessee Titans traveling to Indianapolis to face off against the Colts. This is not one I thought we'd be talking about, but Rich, who wins this matchup?
Yeah,
It's a close one.
It's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a very defensive show in this one. If you want my gambling opinion, I would look towards the under in this one. Hopefully if the line doesn't move too much, hopefully you get some value when you place your bet and go under in this one. Defense is going to be the star of the game in this one. But with the Colts, they've got a lot of drama going on. They might be getting Jonathan Taylor back. They're trying to force him to come back this week.
Is he game ready, though?
Yeah, right.
That's the thing.
So even if that's what you jumped the gun.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. But even if he is going to suit up and play, is he going to be game ready? Because he really hasn't, practiced a whole lot to just be shoved right into full blown season mode. And also Anthony Richardson, while he had a good game last week, he's dealing with a couple of nagging injuries as well. I think you got to go with the Titans. You got to go with experience here. This, with this possible game that might throw one of them into the lead in the AFC South. I think you're going to rely more on veterans. You're going to rely more on the running game. A conservative offense against two tight defenses should prevail in this one. So I'm going Titans in this one.
Yeah, I agree. It's when you look at defensive games and ground games, the Titans have the edge here if they can control the clock. And that's the secret to victory here for these teams. They're both running focused teams. Neither of them are lighting up the scoreboard passing wise, but the Titans have that slight edge with the better defense. Both statistically around the same when it comes to ground game. So I think the Titans just get a slight edge here. If they can control the clock, control the flow of the game, there shouldn't be any reason why they can't come away with a win here. Yeah. Especially if Indianapolis tries to suit up Jonathan Taylor. I can just see that, going sideways. Yeah. If he's not ready to play and they, throw him in there and I like the Titans. Slight edge, because I feel like it's going to be close.
Go under though. Look at the game total.
Yeah.
My betting advice.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, but this next one could be. This is, of course, a Sunday night showdown between the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. Everybody has this game circled on their schedule. It's a Sunday primetime game. Rich, what do you think? People are saying this could be the NFC Championship game.
I hate to say it, but it could be. I know the Eagles are the defending NFC champions, but this might be a possible matchup in that NFC Championship game. But, between the two teams, the team that I don't want to face is the 49ers. The 49ers, that offense can just hit you in so many different directions and dimensions. Between Brandon Ayuk, between Christian McCaffrey, it's just it's an abundance of weapons and also different ways to use the weapons too. It's literally the best case scenario for any head coach or offensive coordinator in that team. There's so many different ways they can use to hurt you. Whereas the Cowboys, I think if you lean on Dak Prescott too much, he falters. And I think that's going to be the difference. I think at some point in this game, the Cowboys might fall behind by 2 scores, and then they're going to get stuck trying to pass with Dak Prescott, and I don't think that fits his MO. So I'm going to go with 49ers to be comfortable at home and to disrupt the Cowboys' offense.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think the Niners are one of the most complete teams in the league right now.
Yeah.
God, it pisses me off so much that Brock Purdy's actually doing well. It should not work, but it does. And it really annoys me, but I don't see the Cowboys being able to steal one here going into San Fran. San Francisco is just better on both sides of the ball. Offense, defense, they have it everywhere. you can't really point out a clear weakness for them.
No, it's tough.
It is tough. So I'm going with Dallas. So far both these teams haven't played anybody like.
Wait, you're going with Dallas?
Oh, sorry, San Fran.
Oh, God, yeah. It's like you're trying to throw everyone a curveball.
No. Sorry, San Fran. No, definitely going with San Fran. Neither of these teams has played anybody spectacular, but San Fran's undefeated. So statistically better, undefeated. Got to go with San Fran, not Dallas. Never Dallas.
Yeah.
That was just a brain fart. Hopefully I won't have a brain fart with this next one, though. Our very own hometown Philadelphia Eagles are traveling to L.A. to face off against the Rams. Rich, who do you like in this one?
Well, I think the Eagles are going to get better as each week progresses. And the Rams, I don't know what to make of them. I know Matthew Stafford is still a legit quarterback threat, and him with possibly Cooper Kupp returning.
He's been struggling a little bit.
A little bit, but he can still sling it.
Yeah.
I think the problem's going to be the running game. I think, they really haven't been able to reestablish themselves as a running threat with all their running backs that they lost in the past couple of months. So I think on that note, I think the Eagles' running game is going to be enough to take this game over. And if they get a lead in the third and fourth quarter, for the love of God, run the ball and own the clock. And as long as they do that, they should be able to pull out a win in LA.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident going into LA. They were good several seasons ago, but they've been struggling as of recently. This year they're kind of on the upswing again. But I'm noticing a lot of big names on their injury report. Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, Tyler Higbee. Just they're piling up those little
knick-knack injuries.
Yeah, and they don't really have a home field advantage, so to speak of. Every time we go there, the entire city travels with the team. So, we got that going for us as well. And I think the Eagles are a team that gets better with age. As we progress further into the season, we've been seeing it every week. They've been getting a little bit better, ironing out some of those issues. We just signed a new corner to fill in the slot. I think that pretty soon we're going to be putting together a complete game. Maybe it can be against the LA Rams. I'm going Eagles.
Right. So there we go. That's our fantastic 4 picks for week number 5 of the NFL season. Speaking of traveling home bases, did you see the game, Thursday night, Lions at Packers? The Lions took over Lambeau Field.
The Lions got something going on this year.
That is a sight I never thought I would have seen.
Yeah.
It was a sea of blue at Lambeau Field. The Packers even had to put out like a press release that was like, we would like to ask our season ticket holders, please sell to other Packers fans. And it's like, that's not the way it works, Packers.
Yeah. You can't be like selling a ticket, be like, hey, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, the Lions are doing
Name the 3 great Green Bay Packers quarterbacks right now. Do a little test.
That's tough. There's so many. They never not have a great quarterback. No,
that's the correct answer.
Exactly.
Every quarterback is great for the Packers.
Seems like it.
I don't know.
But the Lions are doing something special this year. They're really energized. The team, the fans, they're doing well.
Yeah. And hopefully that'll bring an end to their playoff drought. Because it's been a while since they've been to the playoffs.
We will see.
Because we all know that one playoff drought that's not going to end is the Jets.
Yep. Unfortunately, they are struggling.
Yeah. We didn't even get to any of the Jets.
Oh,
we should have. Between Aaron Rodgers calling Travis Kelce out as Mr. Pfizer.
So random and so obnoxious.
And Zach Wilson actually having a good game, but the Jets still can't put it together.
It's like they just can't get it all to sync up.
No, they can't. Sorry, Jets. And on that note, that'll wrap up the Sports Sampler. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, we've got the entertainment entree and the non-fortune cookie odd news when we return here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Don't go anywhere.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection. in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
Space in my heart. Wow. Trouble in my eye. Looking for another good time. My heart. Wow. Yeah. Ready. Yeah. Rage in the stage. Twinkling the roses in my veins. And I say, we're still. Summer hearts never stop. In the same. Little. Little. Wow. Keep shining hard, hell, live and die. Baby, oh yeah. Boogie boy, round the house. Wow. Wow. Always remember.
Yeah, that's right. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Throw a random video from YouTube user Tubba B doing a bad lip reading of Motley Crue doing a horrible performance of Kickstart My Heart. That makes me laugh every single time.
I love. So video watchers, I assume, will get the little text that pops up on the video
Yes.
where it's like birth noises.
Yes. If you're just an audio-only listener, you
That
just
didn't
got
make any
you
sense.
just got a horrible rendition of "Kickstart My Heart," which Neil, the lead singer, yeah, he actually performed that in front of a crowd.
I'd be so upset. Like if I
Oh,
were
oh
a
my
fan and I
gosh.
were in that crowd, I'd be like, please give me my money back.
There's so many things like
Yeah, I couldn't understand a word
yeah, you can't understand everything
he
that
said.
he said, and like. It does sound like it's like it's almost like he's got a hamburger in his mouth while he's trying to sing.
Oh, he grabbed something from the snack
Big Mac
stand.
103. He ordered a Big
Yeah.
Mac.
Yeah,
That one line sounded like Big Mac 103.
Big Mac 103.
Yeah, that's what he ordered.
That's
that.
his order number.
That's his order. Yeah. So there you go. I have that. I just have that saved because that always makes me laugh. Like if I'm ever in a bad mood, that it just boom,
you just
instant
need, you
happiness.
just need that video on speed dial.
If you ever feel like you had a bad day at work,
Just remember that guy also had a day at work.
yes, yes, Motley Crue have had worse days at work than you have had.
Man, could you imagine getting paid to like do a quarter of your job?
To 18%.
18%. Like he got up on stage and he was like, here you go. Here's $1 million.
And
I could have done what he did there.
yeah, it's so good. So I dug it out from the archives and had to play that today. Why not?
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. With that in mind, that's the kind of things that you can expect when we launch into the second segment of the show that revolves around movies, TV, video games, celebrities, stuff like that in the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty?
Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, but before we get into the news at hand, I am commandeering this vehicle, and I'm stealing This Week in Entertainment.
What?
Yes, because actually it's a big week for me.
Okay.
Because we got season finales of Ahsoka and Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, that's
both
right.
happening this week.
Both shows are ending. That is true.
Yes, season finales this week. So just your reminder, if you started those shows and maybe you lost a week or something and you need to catch back up, you need to do it this week because the finales of both of those shows, which I've been following intently, the finales are this week. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, there you go. I wanted to commandeer.
Okay.
This Week in Entertainment. Take that, Mike.
I'm just enjoying watching you do my segment.
How do you like that?
Are you going to sign off now?
No! I'm just going to end the show. I'm going to end the segment. There you go. That was This Week in Entertainment. That's how I do it.
And that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
No, you got stuff you're looking forward to because the strike that you usually update on.
Yes.
There's one part of it that came to an end with the writers, but
right.
the actors are still striking.
We still need actors to make movies and TV.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
That remains to be seen. Tom Hanks is suing somebody for an AI representation of himself selling, I forget what it was. It's like toothpaste or something weird. It's not good. It's bad. It's bad. It's not good times in Hollywood. What?
Yeah, if you go on YouTube, there's so many different things like Heisenberg Walter White trying to sell a cookie factory or something.
Oh
like,
man.
There's AI. While it is scary how well they can do stuff, it's funny. Like some of the things that they're putting them to use on.
It is funny, but it's a big problem for the actors, and that's why they're still in negotiations. Studio CEOs, the same set of executives that helped bring the writer's strike to an end, have been meeting with union members in SAG's offices. This is marking a shift from previous negotiations where they would meet at the studio offices. They're now meeting on SAG territory. Insiders are saying this shows a shift in, being willing to negotiate more fairly. They're approaching it with, a different mindset. I don't know that I buy that. I think that might be a little bit of propaganda, but hopefully it does have some kind of positive impact. Insiders are saying that the deal won't be as fast as the WGA deal. So they're saying possibly another several weeks, 3 to 4 weeks at least, before a deal is reached. A major sticking point has been the creation of a revenue sharing model so that cast members of hit streaming shows are rewarded for the success of those shows. As we know, we've reported as part of the writer's strike that residuals for streaming shows are comically low. At the beginning of the strikes, one actor came out and said that they appeared on Orange is the New Black. They were a supporting character. They received like 80 checks from Netflix totaling $50 total.
Woo!
So like comically low. It costs way more.
That's a lot of Big Macs.
That's a lot of Big Macs. It costs way more to get all those checks cashed than I'd be just send them back at that point, But it's a big deal for actors because obviously streaming isn't going anywhere. It's the way of the future.
Literally, we had Disney Bob Iger saying, streaming is the future of Disney. It's not broadcast television.
Absolutely. The actors know that. The studios know that. That's why it's essential that they get some kind of revenue sharing. Otherwise, it's not going to be a profession that people can pursue outside of the super A-list, which is a real shame because you miss out on discovering like hidden talent. You know, somebody making it big on these streaming shows. There's going to be no room for them to make a living doing it, so they won't do it. You know, so it's really important that they get that done. That's why it's going to take them some time. I thought it was going to expedite the process, but it seems like the SAG deal is a much more complicated deal. The writers got pretty much everything that they wanted. It was a fantastic deal. It's looking like SAG might take a while to get there, and I don't know if they're going to get absolutely everything that they want.
Interesting.
So it really comes down to those streamers. And speaking of the streamers, this is a little glimpse into their perspective of the world. They're already responding to the world after the strikes by cracking down further on password sharing and raising prices yet again. It always blows my mind how these stories always come out like bang bang.
I declare bankruptcy!
Yeah, you may have to with all
Basically.
the streaming services charges.
It's not a coincidence that these talks are heating up. They're getting closer to a compromise. They're going to have to make a deal with the actors. And at the same time, Disney comes out and they say, we're going to crack down on password sharing starting first in Canada next month. And I expect that to expand to other territories.
I'm a special kind of white guy.
That's what Bob Iger said.
Sorry, Canada.
Sorry, Canada. Discovery Plus announced their first price increase, and they are in effect now as of this recording. And
I think Hulu went up too.
Hulu, I didn't see it come across my news feed, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think Hulu went up too.
And if one of the big guys is upping their prices, that means the other ones are as well.
Yeah, what was that consortium you mentioned like a week or two ago?
Yeah, it was like the Institute for like streaming something or other. Yeah, it's legal collusion.
Yeah.
Like they're all like, hey guys, let's it's just a legal way for them to collude on pricing because as Discovery raised their prices, Hulu raised their prices, Disney's cracking down on password sharing. Here comes Netflix. Already, they're already planning on raising prices after the strike concludes. Like that leaked out. Some people are saying that they have it in the works already. They know that the strikes are going to end and they're going to up the prices.
Aren't you really? I think I remember you saying you're paying like $30 for Netflix between
it. Well, we have the 4K package.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen yet the account getting flagged for. My brother lives in Chicago. He's on our Netflix. I haven't seen it get flagged for that, but when he does, it will be close to $30 a month.
And that's before the price going up.
That's before the price
Dear
going
God.
up.
Yeah, they're ruining.
I don't know what to do though, because like there's nothing on TV.
Yep. Well, you're just gonna have to.
I could learn how to sail.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to sail the open seas. If you catch my drift.
It's a shame because I would love.
I'm a special kind of white guy.
I would love to support the creatives behind the shows, but these streaming services make it really, really difficult to do so. And
I mean, how high is Netflix going to go? I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
What's the upper limit? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't think of any subscription service off the top of my head that is expensive as Netflix. Like, just that I personally own. I know there's probably really expensive subscription services out there. I think Netflix is the most expensive one that I have.
Yeah, and this is before another raise increase.
Yeah.
I don't know what the ceiling is. It's just going to be crazy at this rate.
The ceiling is there is no ceiling.
Your whole paycheck.
No, I mean the reality of it is that there is no ceiling. Streaming is absolutely following the cable model, where every year you're just going to see, a little bit here, a little bit there, a couple cents here, a couple cents there, until the bills are the same.
I declare bankruptcy!
Yep, and everyone's going to be screaming that.
I mean, it used to be that you could cut the cord and save money, but now there's no point. Cutting the cord and cable is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's you just choose what you want to watch. Basically, you're paying the same price.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting. But you can see the priority of the studios and the streamers by the fact that, they went back into negotiations and then immediately 3 or 4 streaming services announced price increases and password crackdowns. You see where their priorities are.
Yeah.
And it's not to protect the creatives, and it's not to benefit the consumers.
Yep. So with that out of the way, let's get to some video game news. We're big fans of The Last of Us, but unfortunately, there's been a troubling announcement from Naughty Dog.
Yeah, so Naughty Dog is one of the premier Sony studios responsible for some of the biggest PlayStation exclusives and hits over the years, from Crash Bandicoot to Uncharted, Last of Us. I mean, you name it, they've done all the big series. But they are being hit with some layoffs. Naughty Dog has announced that they are laying off at least 25 people associated with the Last of Us multiplayer game. These are not full-time members. They are contract developers, so they're ending their contracts. So it's not quite, as alarming as like some companies, we're laying off full-time staff, but it sucks that people have to lose their jobs. What's really upsetting, though, is all the stuff that came out in addition to this, the reports that came out alongside it, because according to a Kotaku article, people that are being affected, as well as those who are still working at Naughty Dog, are being pressured to keep the news quiet. That is not good. That's a bad thing when a company's like, don't tell anybody that we're firing you, though. It's okay. Don't worry. Just don't say anything.
What do you? I got an idea. Pay me 6 months salary, and I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, right. And people are suggesting that this is indicative of a larger problem at Naughty Dog, but also with Sony in general. And I want to get your opinions on this. So Naughty Dog has been working on, I don't know if you remember, The Last of Us had a factions mode, which was their multiplayer mode. And Last of Us 2 did not have this mode, but fans were a huge fan of it in the first game. Naughty Dog said that they were working on this factions mode, and it was going to be something big and spectacular and something unique and different. Apparently, this mode is now on ice. It's had development struggles. They had Destiny developer Bungie come in to take a look at it, and Bungie was like, not good. We got to rethink this. Mm-hmm. So this multiplayer mode that is yet unannounced and released is on ice, struggling, potentially on hold. But people are also saying that Sony's having an issue. Insiders are reporting that Sony and PlayStation are having issues with this pivot to live service games. Came out, I think, sometime last year that Sony announced Jim Ryan, who is now leaving the company, actually, as of next year, said that they wanted to put 60% of their spending towards live service games, keeping only 40% invested in their traditional single-player action games. Most of the big studios are working on multiplayer projects. Naughty Dog with the factions mode. Insomniac is working on an unknown multiplayer game. And Guerrilla Games is rumored to be working on a Horizon live service MMO something multiplayer game. Bungie, of course, is continuing work on Destiny and consulting with other Sony developers. But Rich, what do you make of this troubling news? One, the huge investment towards live service. Two, the fact that it's apparently not going well. And three, the news about Naughty Dog specifically.
Well, yeah, I mean, I as someone who focuses more on the single player story, I wish I wish the 60-40 was reversed.
Right, yes, absolutely.
To me, that has to stand alone.
That
has to be the star of the show.
That's their bread and butter.
If you don't hook me in on the story, then I don't think you're going to get a good multiplayer experience anyway.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely have I played a game
strictly for multiplayer.
Right, and said like, "Oh, the multiplayer is why you should get this game, not the single player story." But
are we a dying breed in video games?
Maybe.
Because everybody's going that way.
The younger crowd loves these like Fortnite games, these battle royale games.
Fortnite, Roblox, battle royale stuff, really big.
Yeah, it may be a fact we're old, Mike.
Maybe
we've outlasted our purpose. But yeah, in my opinion, to me, I always thought the single player mode is where you divert the majority of your attention, and then whatever's left over, then you do the multiplayer. But Yeah, the up and coming generation, they see it differently. They want to be able to play with their friends. They want to be able to have all these crazy battle royales and stuff like that. So it's a difference of need and want.
Yeah. I'm concerned with the pivot to live service, and I'm concerned that it's not going well.
Yeah.
I don't think Sony's studios, not to say that they're all fantastic world-class developers, but they're all built to do big, narrative-driven, single-player action-adventure games. Like, every single game is third-person, over-the-shoulder, action-adventure with a little RPG, right?
Yeah.
You got Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon, Uncharted, Last of Us, Spider-Man. They're all the same, roughly the same game when you break it down.
Yeah,
you know?
in terms of the type of game.
The type of game, yeah. So for years, they've been working on creating worlds and stories like that. Multiplayer is a completely different beast. And yes, there's very big successes, but there's also been a lot of failures in that space too. You know, we mentioned Fortnite was huge, right? Recently, that studio has had to lay off people because Fortnite is not the juggernaut it once was. They thought that it would just be endless growth, but things don't endlessly grow.
Nope.
People get tired and move on from games because there's something new. So successful multiplayer games are tough to come by. They're either established franchises like Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, Battlefield. They are flash in the pan pop culture phenomenons like Fortnite. Or they're cultivated over years and years like Bungie's Destiny. Sony is trying to build this from the ground up with teams that are not outfitted to do that type of work, to think about how do we nickel and dime our customers.
Microtransactions. Oh, yeah, that word.
Like, when's the last time you played a Sony game where it, like, throws up microtransactions everywhere you go?
No.
You know, it's like you're playing The Last of Us. Like, oh, do you want a Molotov cocktail? Just use four apocalypto bucks to buy a Molotov cocktail. Like, that's not their wheelhouse, is to think about games like that. I think it's counter to what these developers specialize in. And when live service games fail, they fail big. Anthem from BioWare basically killed that developer. Remember, they had great success with Mass Effect and Dragon Age. They're like, we're going to kill Mass Effect. We're going to do Anthem. It failed. You can buy it for like $4 now. And they haven't put out anything since.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too, is like these games that are based on multiplayer, if you don't have a good online connection, you can't really have a good multiplayer experience.
And if players don't have a good experience, players flee the game.
Yep.
And it just fails. And all of a sudden, you're $100-200 million down the tubes.
Yep. So.
And you end up like BioWare or like I forget who it is that produces Fortnite, but they're laying off a bunch of staff now. I don't like. Yes, Sony needs to have a multiplayer presence, but I think they should leave it to the developers and the studios that have success with that. Like, let Bungie do their thing. You know, let like the developers that do their thing. Don't force Naughty Dog to try to make a battle royale. Don't force Insomniac to make some weird multiplayer first-person shooter. Like, that's not what they specialize in.
Yeah. So
it's fitting a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
It doesn't
they're not
work
built
out.
for it.
No.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if maybe there is a majority of gamers that want that, but I think there's still a strong population that doesn't.
I mean, the biggest games, think about the games that always get the most accolades. It's the God of Wars, the Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's all these big single-player games. Baldur's Gate 3 right now is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
It's an old D&D role-playing game.
The story is, yeah.
The story is, yeah. So, you can find success on both sides. I think Sony just wanted a money printing machine, but their money printing machine is having the best game experiences in the business. You buy a PlayStation for their exclusives, their story-driven exclusives, not for Fortnite.
Yeah, that's correct. And on that note, we got to leave it there because we got to get into our third and final segment, the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Mandada bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at meat tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders, go to the bathroom, because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo, odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing these stories for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to?
Do you even really need to ask that question?
Is it Florida?
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Yep.
Fits like a glove. Florida and the odd news.
Going back to Florida. And this story takes place over the course of 10 hours over the weekend.
That's a very long odd news story.
Yeah, this is a very long time here.
I don't think we've ever had one that is like a saga like that.
Yeah. And that is because we have a Florida man here who managed to cause chaos for a lot of folks for 10 hours in Lakeland, Florida, after he decided to climb up railroad crossing light poles and bounced around from them and stayed up there a while.
And stayed up there a while.
Yep, he just decided to climb up these railroad crossing lights and just hang up in there.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but why was this? I mean, I guess it's a bother to people, but like, was it really that much of a bother? Like, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing.
I'm in the dark here.
This started at 4:30 a.m., so he was causing this in the dark.
I'm in the dark here.
That is, yeah.
Early Sunday morning, 4:30 a.m. This guy's just going crazy on top
So
of...
he climbs up onto this thing, and you said he hung out.
That's a yes.
That's a yes.
So he's just hanging out, and you said bouncing around. Like, what do you mean? Just hopping up and down? What?
Yep, and we're talking about these long, like the ones that have the two lights over the railroad.
Yeah,
like they're kind of like a beam that goes across.
Yeah, it's not the bar that comes down.
No, not
it's
the bar
lights
that comes down.
That go over.
Yeah, it's like a beam that goes over the tracks.
Okay.
And then there's two lights on either side of the train tracks.
Right.
And he's on top of them, running, dancing on top of them, going crazy.
Yeah, I can see why.
That's a yes.
That's actual audio.
That's actual audio captured on the scene. I can see why authorities wouldn't want him up there, but like, I don't know. If I'm just like driving by, I'm like, okay, whatever.
So this started at 4:30 in the morning on Sunday. So a lot of people trying to sleep in,
getting an early start. Oh, was he making noise? Like what was he doing? Why was he up there?
Yeah, he was just up there having some fun. But police had to tell people to stay away from Highway 92, which is near the railroad sign that he was dancing on top of. People were worried that he was suffering a mental health crisis, so unfortunately we can't give you the name of the person.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, He's up 30 feet high on the mast, according to police. So it is dangerous. He falls, he's going to hurt himself.
Did this guy previously live in Philly?
Yeah, did he climb up the poles?
Because people in Philly love climbing poles.
Yeah. But this one's 30 feet up.
That's pretty tall.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the height of the poles in Philly that people climb.
I would guess 15.
They have that tradition down in South Philly. Like, it's a real thing. People are like, oh, they in Philadelphia, they just climb poles. No, it's like a cultural thing.
Yeah. The
Italian
climb up the pole.
There's they put a cup of coal or something at the top and they got to go get it.
Yeah. And whoever
no,
does.
I'm serious.
Yeah. And whoever does is like the champion.
The
or
king
something.
of the Italian meat. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't remember. But
Yeah, it's a thing.
The point is, Philadelphians, they have, I think, an innate ability to scamper up poles. So I think maybe this guy came from Philly.
Maybe he did.
I think we should claim him as our own.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But he is in a perilous situation with this being 30 feet above the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, he falls. He's going to take a very big injury here. They had to call in fire engines that had buckets on them, which is the thing that moves around, the little square thing that moves up and down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people, when you say bucket, they're like, "Oh, they got a bucket."
No, it's like a ladder that has
with
a
the square
area. It's a basket.
Yeah.
Somebody has controls up there, and
They didn't actually get a bucket.
They're standing under him actually with a
Yeah.
bucket. They're like, "All right, guys,
Land
jump
in the bucket." We got someone bring the bucket.
They just get like a giant man-sized bucket.
Yeah.
And they
Come
just
on
fill
out.
it with, I don't know, like marshmallows or something soft for him to land in. And they just like stand under there.
Yeah. So before they were able to get him down from the ground, at one point he screamed and threw a plastic bag at the cops.
Oh no, not the plastic bag.
Yep. And in the plastic bag, it turned out that there were traces of meth in it, according to the police report.
You want to cook crystal meth?
I'm the cook.
Yeah, so all the parts of this are starting to come together.
There you go. You're starting to put
Yeah.
things together. So, yes. Also, according to the police report, he shouted at the cops in, quote, a vulgar manner.
Okay.
Ooh. I thought you would like that. Ooh,
A vulgar manner.
Vulgar manner.
What is it? They need to define vulgar, though, for it to really have any kind of impact. Like, what is he just throwing curse words at him? Is he being
apparently
is he being lewd? Like, what kind of vulgar?
The Polk County Sheriff's Office does not want to list.
Oh,
they're too offensive for virgin ears.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's some bad stuff.
The Polk County police do not want you to know what he said.
Yikes!
They only wrote in the police report a vulgar manner.
Oh wow,
vulgar.
The people of Florida can't handle vulgarity like that.
Yeah, not how dare you? not in Polk County.
Not in Polk County, apparently.
Vulgar.
Okay.
I don't know why. It sounds like a
You're really liking that word right now,
right? It's a fun word, isn't it?
Vulgar.
Vulgar.
I don't know why you sound so evil when you're saying.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
I don't know. Like it's dark.
Yeah,
It's dark
too much
synth.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have too much of that dark.
I'm having
synth.
too much of that dark synth.
Vulgar.
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 There you go.
Is that dark synth?
That's kind of dark synth. Yeah, you're getting there.
See, I could do it.
Yeah.
I could go to Wilmington and do dark synth.
Yeah,
Is that the dark synth capital of the world?
Call Bar 13 up. They'll have you on. That's
Vulgar.
That's it. That's the whole song. It's just that for 12 hours.
I think it could go with at least if maybe not like diamond or platinum, but like gold.
Yeah.
Silver, maybe.
Get a record.
Yeah.
Get something.
It'll be out there.
Yeah. Vulgar. Anyway. It's a fun word. Try it at home. But anyway, after 10 hours, they were able to get him down
It's a long time of trying to get him down. Why didn't they just push him and have like a trampoline like you see in the cartoons where the firefighters have the big trampoline thing?
I guess too
Is
much.
that dangerous?
Yeah, if you miss, I don't know.
You just bounce him onto another trampoline. Eventually you stop
Yeah, also,
bouncing.
where does he bounce? He's falling 30 feet.
Well, you angle it where you want him to go.
What is this, a pinball?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Like you angle it where you want him to go.
Mike is in charge of the pinball unit.
I think it would have expedited matters. They would have got him down at least, at most 5.
Get the turkeys, get the turkeys, get the turkeys! Get the turkey, get the turkey! Get the turkey!
There you go. That's
I don't know
Mike.
what that has to do with pinball or me
you're
with
trying to-
trampolines.
You're trying to get the turkey.
Oh, he's the turkey.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
trying to get him.
I think if you just push him, right? Like politely, and you angle the trampoline, then you have another trampoline and that's angled, and then another one. Like you lose your kinetic energy the more you bounce. So eventually, he'll land safely and be fine.
Just eventually.
Eventually.
At some point.
I don't know the physics math to know how many trampolines you need, but I imagine 3.
There you go, Detective Michael Costanzo.
I think 3 trampoline. Well, you tell me. What do you think? 30 feet, 3 trampolines.
No,
That'll.
There's
No.
so much energy falling from 30 feet.
4.
4. Wow. Yes. Good thinking, Mike.
I
Add
figured
another
it
one.
out. 4 trampoline. 1 trampoline for every 7.5 feet. How do you like that math?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I think that would have got him down at most 5 hours.
You're like the Walmart version of cops. Like, I think 4 trampolines should do it.
Look, the Walmart version, not the prettiest, not the best, but it gets the job done.
Oh, dear God. I don't think this is
Hire me
possible.
for police chief.
Yeah, Polk County will love to have you. And you also change the police reports. Vulgar manner.
I'll put the vulgar words in the report.
Yeah. Put those.
Promise to you, Floridians of Polk County, I will not skimp on the vulgarity.
Yeah. So he was eventually able to come down off of the railroad sign. He was taken to a hospital for evaluation and mental evaluation.
Okay.
And here we go with the charges here, because 4 trains that run on that Sunday morning were, quote, extremely delayed, and total operations were disrupted for hours due to this stunt.
Oh, no.
So he got charged with the following: culpable negligence, exposure of sexual organs. So I guess at some point he took his pants off.
You just said bouncing. You didn't say what he was bouncing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He's bouncing some other things. Didn't realize it.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
See, when you leave out the vulgarity from the police report, you miss key elements.
Something just came over me, and I took my clothes off.
Yeah, we didn't have that in the beginning of the story. So at some point
he was culpable.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Culpable negligence, exposure of sexual organs. So at some point he took off his pants. He resisted without violence.
Okay.
Possession of meth, obviously. So he threw that bag.
Yep.
That bag had meth in it. He also got a citation for obstruction of public streets because of the delay.
Yeah.
And guess what? This is a crime. Interference with railroad signals. That is an official separate crime.
Well, that makes sense because the railroads are tied to so much. Public transportation, shipping, just general flow of transportation and traffic in general. So, I could see why they don't want people to mess with this. You could also cause a train accident.
Yeah.
So messing with the signals, that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
So what did he get? Like a $500 fine?
He's going to be arraigned soon. We don't know.
We don't know.
Because he had to go to the hospital to get
looked at,
make sure that he's mentally cleared.
At this rate, his best bet is to plead insanity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be hard with the meth on him. That pretty much gives you away, dead ringer.
Yeah.
There's not really too much.
I don't think it was mental issues. I think it was meth.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. This seems to be an open and shut case, Danny.
Yeah.
Book him, Dana. This is I don't know what else could be at play here.
It's probably you said it had traces of meth. That means at one point it had more meth in it.
Yes.
Like the whole bag had meth in it, and then it was empty when he threw it.
Correct. So
10 hours is a long time, so that whole bag.
Or he was trying to return meth to the air and nature, and he had to get up.
Is that where it comes from, Rich? The
He
air?
He had to get up on a 30-foot platform and
he had to return it back.
It's like ash. It's like ashes of a dead relative. He was trying to get it back to
from
nature.
dust to dust or whatever it is.
Yeah, from meth to meth, dust to dust. You must go back into the ether.
Is that where meth comes from? Wow. Yeah. You just pull it down from the air.
That's my new religious belief. There you go.
Specifically, what is the core dogmatic tenet of your religious belief of air meth?
You can get high outside.
There you have it, folks.
There you go.
A religion was born on this day.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself.
Yeah.
You can get high outside.
That's the core tenet.
That's the core tenet.
That's it. That's the
only tenet.
We have one commandment. That's
one
it.
commandment.
You can get a high
Thou
outside.
shalt get high outside.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
That's commandment 2. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
That's it. You can put the tablet in your pocket.
It's
You're good to go.
way easier to carry those tablets around.
Yeah. Sorry, Moses. You did too much work.
Yeah, 10's a lot.
Take a step back. Enjoy some meth.
That's why I was talking to bushes and tablets and stuff.
Yeah, enjoy that burning bush fumes coming out. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Oh, boy.
That's what I have for you this week in the non-fortune cookie odd news.
Good stuff.
Yeah, who would have thought? Jump on top of the railroad signage.
I didn't know they were that high up in the...
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at things as you're driving by, and, like, size is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know, like traffic lights, they're enormous. They're like 6 feet tall.
Right, but
you don't think about it as you're driving by.
Right, they don't look that big when you're driving by. You know?
Yeah. Think about that the next time you go under a traffic light.
Yeah. Think about that the next time you smoke meth and you want to jump on top of one.
That's a pretty common occurrence amongst our listeners, apparently.
Yeah, take that. But on that note, for our meth listeners and non-meth
for the listeners who are
listeners,
still conscious.
Yeah, so we got to start wrapping this episode up. Thank you guys for tuning in and enjoying this week's episode with us. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, whatever, and Instagram. I still hate that.
Just call it Twitter.
Twitter. It's Twitter. I don't know. Whatever. Elon Musk can go enjoy his plugs or whatever. His electric plugs. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, the point is follow the Crispy Noodle on all those social media outlets. But most importantly, make sure you have a way to get our episodes every Wednesday. You can get that through YouTube. Just click the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and you'll get the episode sent to your YouTube page. You can do it on Facebook Watch. You can literally watch us directly on Facebook if that's easier for you. But most importantly, we're on Spotify. The video podcast does go up on Spotify. Also, since you can listen to Spotify in the background, you can listen to us as an audio-only podcast. And also, you can take us on the go through Spotify, through Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So you can take us on the go. If you want to go to a railroad sign and climb up and have some fun.
Yeah. You do you.
Yeah.
If you want
to enjoy the outdoors with meth.
Exactly. And if you want to let us know how you do you can find us individually on X and or Twitter to share your sports, entertainment, and odd news stories. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am Matt Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. You can find us on Twitter and let us know what's happening. But for now, we got to wrap it up. This has been the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.